According to sources who described its contents to ABC News, a former top federal judge wrote Friday in a sealed filing that prosecutors in the special counsel's office have presented compelling preliminary evidence that former President Donald Trump intentionally and knowingly misled his own attorneys about his retention of classified materials after leaving office. According to the sources, U.S. Judge Beryl Howell wrote last week that the attorney-client privileges invoked by two of the former president's lawyers could be breached because prosecutors in special counsel Jack Smith's office have made a prima facie showing that the former president had committed criminal violations. Howell resigned as the chief judge of the D.C. District Court on Friday. Howell mandated that Evan Corcoran, a Trump attorney, comply with a grand jury subpoena for testimony on 6 different lines of inquiry, over which he had previously claimed attorney-client privilege in her sealed filing. According to sources, Howell also demanded that Corcoran turn over a number of documents related to what Howell, echoing prosecutors, called the alleged criminal scheme of Trump. These documents consist of handwritten memos, receipts, and transcripts of private audio recordings. Howell agreed that the evidence presented by the prosecution was sufficient to meet the so-called prima facie standard to pierce Corcoran's privilege and that it would appear from the evidence that Trump committed crimes. The judge made it clear that in order to pursue charges, prosecutors would still need to meet a higher standard of proof. It is a lower hurdle, but it is a sign that the government had presented some evidence and allegation that they had evidence that met the elements of a crime, said Brandon Van Grack, a former top national security official in the Justice Department, who is now a private attorney, to ABC News. According to sources, Howell determined the prosecutors provided sufficient proof that Trump intentionally concealed the existence of additional classified documents from Corcoran. This put Corcoran in the awkward position of misleading the government. It is unknown what information Howell may have examined from the Dodge and Trump's lawyers under seal to make her decision. Shame on fake news ABC for broadcasting illegally leaked false allegations from a never Trump, now former chief judge, a Trump campaign representative said in response to ABC News. The spokesperson asserted that prosecutors only attack attorneys when they have no case to answer for. This is the real story in this case, which fake news ABC should be covering, the spokesperson said. ABC News was refused comment by a special counsel's office spokesperson. The developments that have been reported by sources highlight yet another facet of the former president's ongoing legal weaknesses. Prosecutors in New York are considering charging Trump with a separate crime, making hush payments to an adult film star as Smith's investigation into classified documents moves forward. Trump is also under investigation in Georgia for his attempts to rig the state's 2020 presidential election, and Smith is carrying out his own investigation into Trump's meddling in the election. Finding out whether former president's attorneys falsely certified in response to a grand jury subpoena that Trump had returned all classified records to the government, or whether Trump himself is at the center of Smith's efforts in the classified documents investigation. Attorneys for Trump allegedly certified in June 2022 that a diligent search of his Mar-a-Lago estate turned up only 38 secret documents kept in a locked storage room, according to federal prosecutors. However, when FBI agents searched the property 2 months later, they discovered more than 100 additional documents marked classified, some of which were outside the storage room, including on Trump's desk, according to the prosecution. Howell was harsh in her criticism of Trump's actions since the beginning of last year, in response to the government's attempts to recover all classified documents taken from the White House in her order last Friday. She once referred to Trump's interactions with National Archives staff as a dress rehearsal, according to sources, for his future initiatives. The crime-fraud exception, which permits the attorney-client privilege to be violated in situations where it is suspected that legal services were provided in the commission of a crime, was used by investigators to try to compel the testimony of Corcoran and another Trump attorney, Jennifer Little, as ABC News previously reported. Howell ordered Little's testimony as well, according to sources, with the exception of one of the subjects for which she wished to assert attorney-client privilege. According to sources, prosecutors are attempting to find out how Corcoran helped another Trump lawyer, Christina Bobb, draft the statement to the Justice Department in June 2022, which Bobb ultimately signed. According to sources, Trump's attorneys plan to appeal Howell's decision from Friday.